Hi, I'm Denyce Graves, and I have spent most of my life as an opera singer and as an educator. The opera world knows me for my portrayals of two of opera's greatest, baddest femme fatales, Carmen and Delilah. But what you may not know is that as much as I love to burn up the stage, I also love to burn in the kitchen. I love to cook. So for me, singing and cooking reach people in the same way that is satisfying and that connects us. So I've blended together these two and created a talk show, a cooking show, and a performing platform, all stirred up together. And I know that you guys are the king of the puns.
This is a great way to get your aggressions out.
Hell yeah.
Can't burn the garlic.
You cannot burn the garlic. This format for Cooking with Denyce isn't like any other show. I'm in my orchard and in my garden. CWD is reimagining presenting performing artists, classical artists, to the popular culture, to inclusive communities, and to the world.
Stood up, I just said,
yes! The performing stage, pouring the tea with our stories.
Oh, it's easy. The first thing you do is you put the clams in last. You know?
That's awesome! Distinctive recipes from all over the world. Tout le monde.
Ciao mio grande amore.
Plus life tips and ingredients for success.
Allow nothing to impede whatever it is that your heart can dream of.
Nothing.
They want nothing to do with you.
The way Billie Eilish sings, I should have talked to me for 3 days. You know, I mean, it's like, really?
Well, it's pretty impressive what you did do.
This is war now, Laura.
Right.
Where's the sugar go? Oh my. It so happened. Oh, this is so good. My goal is to serve and to nourish you inside and out. So join us. Let's get cooking. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cooking with Denyce, or as we've begun to call it, CWD. Welcome to our second season, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all of the emails that you've sent, all of the texts, all of the personal letters that you've sent over these months. It has meant the world to us, and we have been so encouraged and so buoyed by your love and support. So thank you so much. Today's show, I'm so excited about because I have these two guests. I have loved them for a few years now. Back in 2017, I did a recital at the Cotuit Center up in Cape Cod. And you know, sometimes when people look at my life as an opera singer, they think, oh, it's so glamorous. You know, Denyce, you're all over the place. You're flying all over the world. This was BC, before COVID. Flying all over the world. And you're in Spain, and then you're in France. And the truth of the matter is, it's work. It's always work. And you can ask anyone there. Basic, your life is the theater and your hotel room. And that's what it's like. And it's not nearly as glamorous as it seems. It's lugging your own luggage, you know, trying to find your way into a new town, find out where the grocery store is, find out where the theater is, find out how you're going to take care of yourself, and basically going from the hotel to the theater and back. And then there are some times that you do engagements that are really a joy and a pleasure. And that's what happened to me some seasons back when I was at the Cotuit Center. David Keane, who is the artistic director there, and he and I were friends because he managed my record company at the time at RCA. And so he's running this theater now, and he invited Laura Ward and I, who you saw in season 1, who's a very dear friend of mine, she and I did the lasagna showdown together. We went to do a recital around Christmas time, and we stayed in the most charming and beautiful bed and breakfast called Captain David Kelley House. It was so much, and I am not a huge fan of bed and breakfasts because it always means that you've got to get dressed up to go have breakfast, and you sort of have to mind your, and I always feel like I'm in someone's home, and so it feels different from a hotel in that I don't feel like I can leave my stuff all over the place. I feel like it's a personal, reflection on me, how I keep my room, and so I always make up the bed and clean up the bathroom, and it feels really personal. But that was not the experience that I had at Captain David Kelley's house. It was just so warm, so beautiful, so friendly, and it didn't feel like, these guys, Rick and Tom, or who today's guests are, Rick and Tom, at Captain David Kelley's house, made us feel right away like we were in our own homes. And there was such an atmosphere of welcome and freedom, and they didn't, we didn't feel them. I was able to do what I wanted to do. Sometimes there's a responsibility that you feel obligated, when you're away on an engagement, if there's, you get to meet the presenters, you feel sort of like, you've got to be on your good behavior, and not that you would be on your bad behavior, but you still feel that you're guarded and that you're not able to really completely be fully yourself. And if you're in a bad mood, that you can be in a bad mood and not have to worry about how that's going to impact you or what they're going to think of you. So I just had such a lovely, lovely time. This bed and breakfast was so beautifully appointed, so warm. There was a fire in the fireplace. It was around the holiday season's time, Christmas music going on, all of that sort of thing, which was wonderful. And we were treated to some of the most delicious food that I've ever had. Now, Rick and Tom's Bed and Breakfast is the home of the Scone Wars. And we knew about that before we got there. But boy, were we in for a treat. And I have to tell you, if I'm being very, very honest, I will tell you that part of the reason that this cooking show came to be is because of them. Because Laura and I stayed there at their bed and breakfast. We tasted their scones. And I said, I want to go home and make this for the family. And so I went home and I tried it, and she tried it and said, how was yours? How did yours come out? Next time, let's do it this way, or next time, let's do it that way. And so they really created and lit a fire in us about these scones. And it was just so much fun because every day there were so many different types of scones. And which one do you like? Oh, I like the chocolate one, or I like the cranberry one. So today, my guests are Rick and Tom from Captain David Kelley's Bed and Breakfast, which was just named in TripAdvisor amongst the top 10 bed and breakfasts in the world.
What's that shit? Drew Carey 24? I'm not, but dude.
We need you, Drew. We need you.
No, you need me hosting the Price is Right. George, what do we have for hopeful Jonathan over here?
You're gonna love this. It's a trip to gorgeous Cape Cod.
No way!
Woo! Jonathan, you and a guest will fly round-trip coach Los Angeles to Cape Cod for a 5-night stay at the Captain David Kelley House Bed and Breakfast. Featuring covered porches, a stone patio, and lush gardens, this well-appointed, beautifully restored property is situated in the heart of town. Daily breakfast is included.
Jonathan, looks like a fun trip. Give us a couple prices, because we have two prices. It's either $8,051 or $5,922. What do you think?
I'm going to go $8,051, Drew.
$8,051. Yeah, it's all the way on the other side of the country. Hey, Jonathan, hit that button on the side. See if you're a winner. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yes!
Woohoo! Let's hear it, Tom. There he goes. There he goes. Woo!
That's the guy that wants me to run for president. George, let's get another contestant out here.
Rick and Tom, hi. Are you there?
Denise.
Oh my gosh.
Good to see you.
It's wonderful seeing you. The moment I see you, my heart feels like it just overflows with joy and love, because we had such a wonderful time, Laura and I, when we were at your place back a few seasons back. We still talk about it. And one of the things that was so beautiful, I mean, first of all, we had such a wonderful time there and was so comfortable there, but the food was so delicious. And I didn't see you guys sweat at all. You seemed to just come out very easily with beautiful smiles and beautifully presented. Everything was just so well done.
Thank
and
you.
Made such a huge impression on us. So I'm delighted that you could make time today to join us. And it's so great to see you both.
So great to see you. We're so grateful to be on your show. We feel like the luckiest guys alive that you asked us to be on your show. And we're so lucky that we get to host such wonderful people like you, and that you never saw us sweat. That's one of our big goals, is that all happens backstage, and we portray nothing but joy when we come out to the guest areas. And so thank you. And so yeah, scones have become our thing. And we're going to prepare a 3-course meal today, including the scones. And Tom and I, we have what we call the Scone Wars. And the Scone Wars is a competition between us as to who makes a better scone. We've got different shapes. We've got different processes for putting them together, and different ways of presenting them, where we try to get the guests to vote us as the Scone King.
Well, you reign mighty in our home and in Laura's home and in all those whom you have the great pleasure to meet you and to have and dine at Captain David Kelley House. So we have the opportunity today to sort of lift the veil a little bit and have you show us behind the scenes the magic and how it all happens, right?
We'd love to.
So I am ready to get into this. I am ready to be led by you two, because I've had your food again. It's magnificent. And I think that we're going to prepare 3 things today, right? So what do we have on the menu?
So we're going to start with So we're going to start with the main entree.
Okay.
Normally we would serve the fruit, then the scone, then the entree. We're going to start with the main entree today, so
Very
we can
good.
get it baking in the oven.
Very
And
good.
it's individual vegetable strata, and it's got spinach, red peppers, caramelized onions, 2 kinds of cheese, and it gets baked and it gets really puffy. I sometimes call it my Ricky G Puff Daddy strata.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So where do we start here?
We have a red pepper. We chop the red pepper to about 1/4-inch size pieces, and we'll saute that in some olive oil with a little Jane's Crazy mixed up salt, or any kind of seasoning salt that you like. And
Any
some
kind
cracked
of
pepper.
seasoning salt that you like. I sent something to you, but you didn't get it. So one of the great seasoning salts that I like to use is Denise's Opera Blend that was created by the Salt Table. So I'm going to use your crazy mixed up salt, and I'm also going to use some of the Opera Blend, which you will probably be getting in the mail today or tomorrow.
Awesome.
I was hoping you'd have it before this, but anyway, you'll get it.
I think Jane's going to take a back seat after that.
So you add some of the mixed up salt and you start sauteing the red pepper.
Yep.
And also onion, right?
Yep. I'm caramelizing onions in another pan there. They've been going for about a half an hour on low. I have a thing for caramelized onions. They get so sweet, and I love the texture of them and the depth that they add to the dish.
Right. And then we're going to also saute some spinach.
Yeah, we're sauteing an 8-ounce bag of spinach, which really reduces down quite a bit.
To nothing, yeah.
It. And
Very
that will be
good.
enough for these 6 stratas.
Very good.
So again, I've got olive oil in that, a tablespoon of olive oil in that pan, sauteing the spinach down. a little seasoned salt,
Right.
a little cracked black pepper.
Absolutely.
Part of the joy is just smelling everything coming into the air.
It's so delicious. And we never had the opportunity to see you. We always saw you behind on the other side of the kitchen. And so this is great to have this great privilege to see how the magic happens.
This is back here where we pull all the cords and press all the buttons that make the magic happen out front.
Very good. Excellent.
So I've got my oven lit to 400.
Yes.
I've got my ramekins here, the 5-inch baking dishes.
Yes, that's beautiful.
You can spray them with oil, or I love butter.
That's what I'm doing too. I agree.
So I grab a paper towel to keep my hands clean, and I just grease the insides of these.
Very good. And so
your peppers are looking good.
Can you see that?
I can.
Yeah, very good. And but you said you said that you've been caramelizing your onion all day. I mean, on a slow simmer.
On a slow simmer, probably for like an hour, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I didn't put that in the recipe. I apologize, but I just really love cooking them really slow. We don't always have that time in the morning, so a lot of times I'll caramelize them the night before and then reheat them.
Right. Okay, I understand that. That's totally fine. And I know that you have your special touch to things, so I don't expect you to put every single solitary detail, in the recipe. I know that you have your way, and that's why your food tastes so delicious, because you've got you've got wonderful ingredients and wonderful recipes, but you've got your own personal spin that you put on it, which makes it uniquely yours.
Yeah, and I realized when I started writing the recipes down that I've never written them down. They're all in my head.
I know.
Yeah.
I
It was
understand
fun.
that. Very good. So we're moving right along here.
Yeah. I've got 6 English muffin halves that I've toasted.
Yes, I have
And
that too.
We're putting them down on the cutting board, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Two at a time. I'll take my wonderful curved knife. I love the sharp knife.
Look at that.
And take each English. I do 2 at a time. Just cut them right in half.
Yeah.
And we're going to actually cut each one into 6 triangles. And then we're just going to place the triangles. I'll show you what they look like. You're basically reassembling the English muffin in the bottom of the dish.
Aha, that's beautiful.
So
That is beautifully done.
And the more well done, the better, actually. If they get a little bit brown, it's great because they absorb the egg mixture.
So I'm going to do one large casserole instead of the 5 or 6 different ramekins. You're used to serving individual guests there at your place, and I'm going to do a large casserole. So I did already go ahead, and cut up some of the English muffin, toasted that this morning.
Great.
And I'm going to place that at the bottom of the casserole pan.
Yep.
Which I've buttered. And
Awesome.
I think that my ingredients there on the stove may already be at work. Let me see.
So I'm going to finish lining these dishes with English muffin.
And before we got started, I asked if you sautéed the red pepper and the onion together. And you have very definite feelings about that.
Yeah, I find that the red peppers have a sticky sweetness that sticks to the bottom of the pan. And if I cook any other vegetables in with it, then it doesn't work so well. Things start to stick and burn.
Right. I find that I can taste on the utensils what the last food was that was on the utensils. Or if somebody, for example, cuts a piece of fruit that had previously cut an onion,
Right?
can't you taste that?
Oh yeah, that's so bad.
Every time.
Yes. Yes, so nice.
Okay, I think we're all set over here on this end with that. I'm just going to arrange some of the English muffin at the bottom of the casserole here.
All right. And I'm done rearranging these. If I might just also say the reason I do them round is because it enables me to tell the guests that they're having a stratosphere.
Oh! And I know that you guys are the king of the puns, and we will talk about that later.
Okay.
And in celebration of your beautiful, well, anyway, I wore my dress to your party, and we'll see what that means later on.
Okay.
Okay, so I would say that we're good to go on this end with that. I know that you want to get the excess water out of the spinach.
Mine is still sauteing. It needs another minute. So
Okay.
I think I'm going to put my jack cheese into the casserole dish now, into the baking dish.
So you lay down the English muffin, and then you put and then it's like a lasagna. So you're going to build it in that way.
I will build it that way. So I do the cheese over the English muffins.
Okay, very good. We're going to do that. Wonderful. But you're making all of that. Who do you have coming today to eat all this wonderful?
Do we? Actually, we do not. We are going to be eating this and probably sharing it with our neighbors who are always there for us when we run out of eggs. Like a B&B should never run out of eggs, but we've done it a few times and they're always there with fresh eggs for us. So they're going to get some stratas today.
Oh, when I was a student at New England Conservatory, I think Churcher's chicken had just come out. And I'd gone, maybe I'm not supposed to say that. Anyway, let's say that a famous, a well-known chicken restaurant had come out, and I went to go order some chicken, and they had run out of chicken. So, so that can happen with some of the great giants. And
we've often talked about having a joint chicken coop between us and that neighbor.
Oh yeah, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
We used to have them. We're on a farm, but this morning we have fox. There are quite a lot of foxes in this area.
Oh yeah.
In fact, this morning the dog was chasing the foxes, and we get quite a lot of them, and we've lost lots of chickens and lots of ducks, and but that's nature, you know. Nature.
Tom grew up on a small farm, and they had chickens that they had to tend to.
So once you get the jack cheese down,
yes.
What's the next step? I don't want to.
The next step is I put in the spinach. So we'll squeeze out our spinach now.
Okay, very good.
So I'm going to grab a bunch of paper towel.
I think that's pretty dry.
We don't want too much moisture in the strata, or it won't get nice and custardy and fluffy. Turn up my burners. When I cook, even when I'm alone, I talk to myself quite a bit.
Right. My husband said to me the other day, he goes, "You want to know who talks to themselves a lot?" And I said, "Gee, who?" He goes, "You. You're always talking to yourself."
Yeah, it helps me big time. And I always agree with myself, too.
There you go. They say it's always... All right, very good.
So now I've got it inside paper towel. I'm going to take it to my sink. It's amazing how a huge amount of spinach turns into a tiny amount of spinach.
Into absolute nothing. That looks beautiful already.
So after I've squeezed out the moisture, I'm going to put it on the cutting board and chop it.
Uh-huh. I didn't do that extra detail. And then after you do that, I'm
chop that spinach up on the cutting board.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to layer it into each dish.
Beautiful. Very good. Do you put the red pepper first or the onion first?
I usually put the spinach and then the red pepper and then the feta cheese and then the onion. I like the onions near the top.
Oh, right. Very good. It looks very beautiful. It looks like a holiday. It's beautiful.
Yes, it does.
So gorgeous.
I always serve them on Strata Day.
On Strata. That's fantastic. I guess over the years, you guys have come up with quite the repertoire of all the different puns. Oh my goodness, that's really something.
Right.
Very good. All right, we're moving right along on this end. I don't know if you can see that. It is so beautiful.
So I've got my spinach in there. I'm going to do my...
You're going to do your red pepper. That is gorgeous looking. Thank you. And then after that, you put in some feta cheese.
Yes.
Wow. Isn't this wonderful? You know, when I was a student at the conservatory, I had to work, you know, to help take care of my education. And so I used to work at a grocery store. And
you work where, Denyce?
I worked at a grocery store.
Oh.
Yeah, when I was a student, I worked at a grocery store. And I was a cashier. And then one day someone didn't show up in the deli. And they said, "You've got to go to the deli." And I said, "Yeah, but I don't know anything about all the domestic hams and all the different." They said, "The customers will tell you. They'll point at it and they'll let you know." Well, I freaked out. I was about 19 years old. And I was so nervous. And somebody came and got feta cheese. And they asked for feta cheese. And I tried to put it on the cheese slicer. And the lady said, "What the hell are you doing?" You know, and I said, I know that. I was just testing something out. You know, I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh, that's great.
So after you layer it with the feta cheese.
Now I'm going to grab some caramelized onions.
Oh, my goodness.
Pop that on.
One of the best things in the whole wide world, my
right?
goodness. Yes. That is lovely. Oh, how wonderful. What a beautiful thing. The family's going to really love this. Who's not going to enjoy having this?
Yeah.
It's so beautiful looking, too. It's such a handsome looking dish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different textures.
Exactly. It's so hearty looking. You know?
Yeah.
So wonderful. Just the kind of thing that you want to.
So I've got 6 of them layered up.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's extraordinary.
Now we're going to, as soon as you're ready, we'll start mixing our egg mixture.
Okay, I've already got that all mixed up and ready to go.
All right.
So
I wanted to mix them in front of you so I could show off my bicep.
I know. I have seen you on Instagram. I've seen your Zumba classes and your exercise classes that you're doing it with the community there. It's just so fantastic. You both are in such wonderful form, but I understand why. You get up early in the morning and you hit the gym, and then not only do you do it for yourselves, but then you do it for everyone else too.
Yeah, we realize we have to fuel ourselves if we're going to take care of people. And,
yes, you're right.
Yeah. And we offer free passes to that gym when anybody stays here.
Oh, is that right? Yeah,
and
I guess
free Zumba as well.
Free Zumba as well?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to have to come back. I want to. Laura and I kept saying that. She said, when we're finished with this engagement, let's just come back for grins. Let's just come back just to stay because we fell in love with Rick and Tom. Let's just go back there and, and so it's on our list. It's on the to-do list.
Good.
All right, so I've got the eggs mixture going here. And you just pour that on top. Yeah, I don't know.
Got my 2 cups of half and half.
Absolutely, that's the stuff right there.
So a long time ago, I discovered a quiche recipe in my mom's Betty Crocker cookbook that called for heavy cream, like 4 cups of heavy cream. And so I always feel like half and half is really healthy compared to that recipe.
You're right about that. We're all set here. And then you just pour that in there.
All right, and now we've got a teaspoon of salt. Oh, sounds like something.
Yep, we put some of that in there already.
Maybe they want scones. I've got a teaspoon of sugar.
Just a
I've got 8 teaspoons of cayenne.
Yep, that's already in there. I put it in the mix.
All right. Sometimes I go a little heavy on the cayenne because I love that.
I do too. I like a little heat too. And there's something I'm going to add in there. There is I'll have to try and see if I can find that.
And now we're just going to pour it over the layered ingredients.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Tom and I have a philosophy that if it's not fun, don't do it. And
there you go.
If you have to do it, make it fun.
Hey, that's my philosophy.
I just gave you credit.
Okay.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Boy,
He's often taking my lines and using them.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So then you take
the door.
Not that we're competitive or anything.
I gave him credit for that line.
So you put that into a 400-degree oven?
400-degree oven.
For 15 minutes or so? And
for 15 minutes, yep, and then we'll lower the temperature to 355.
Okay. All right, very good. Yeah, 15 minutes. All right, very good.
All right, so I'm putting them in the oven as well.
Do you ever sprinkle a little cheese on top of that, or are we good?
A little what?
Do you ever finish that with a little cheese on top, or you?
I have not.
Well, I think we've got enough.
Nice.
We've got enough. We've got enough. Okay, so in 15 minutes, I'm going to have to, I usually keep my phone around me so I can set a clock. So we'll put 15 minutes, we'll put on a 15-minute alarm.
Yes.
And then we'll turn that down. Very good. So now we're going to get to my favorite parts, the scones, right?
We could probably do the fruit that Tom is going to create a little fruit salad.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to take it over to Tom's cooking area.
Okay, Tom.
Hi, Denyce.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Very, very good.
So, Denyce, I usually do individual portions for the guests.
Right.
And oftentimes the counter is full of 16 dishes, and I do that for quantity control. Everyone gets the same portion. You usually start with the melons. Watermelon, and look for it as red as possible.
Beautiful, beautiful. And that's real watermelon. It has
real watermelon. Everything's fresh.
Beautiful.
Honeydew.
He'll visit like 3 different stores to get all the fruit.
Did you really? Thank you.
Cantaloupe. So and my secret for cantaloupe, and people make fun of me in the store, is that I knock on it. And if it's a dull sound, not only does it feel soft, but you get a dull sound and you know that it's ripe.
Okay.
That's my secret for getting good melons.
Thank you.
And for pineapple, you pull the top green off, and if it comes off, you know the pineapple's ripe. And then I usually let it sit here for maybe a week after that, so it's really sweet.
There you go.
So I do the melons first.
Okay.
Put them in the bowls.
Right.
All my portions are odd numbers: 3 pieces, 5 pieces, 7 pieces. Feng Shui, harmony. And then after that, all those melons are in each bowl. I take my grapes and I actually cut them in half. And guests have commented like I'm the only one that's ever cut their grapes for them, and they get
Peel me a grape.
they
Right.
get 5 halves of green grapes,
Wow.
5 halves of red grapes.
Look at how thoughtful and detailed you are. My goodness. Nothing is by chance. It's all done with such great intention. That's
I'm
wonderful.
OCD, Denyce.
Okay. All right.
But
That
it-
works.
the harmonious aspect of it seems to work because over the last 10 years that we've been doing this, everyone seems to leave feeling more harmonious after his fruit salad.
Very. I'm sure that's true. I certainly did.
Blueberries,
a winning-
strawberries, and when I have them, blackberries, and then I top them with banana the last minute before they go out, or moment before they
Sure.
go out.
Sure.
And of course, it's 3 pieces of banana, 3 slices.
Wow.
And I want to say that we have totally separate cutting boards and knives, so no one's going to taste onion or anything else. in my
That's
fruit.
right.
Maybe in his scones.
And then my glaze, and I make this up ahead and refrigerate it.
Yeah.
You have the recipe,
I do, and I have it here.
and I just give it a little bit of glaze.
Okay, very good.
And then during season, I take fresh mint. We grow fresh mint. And
Yes.
with scissors, I just give a couple shavings of fresh mint.
Oh, how wonderful.
It's amazing that people most times think it's basil. They're like, "Oh my god, I love the basil on the fruit,"
Oh,
and it's mint.
wonderful.
It really adds a nice touch
That's a great
for a
accomplishment.
simple step.
So
let's bring that camera nice and close.
when they go out,
Yes.
this is what they look like.
Oh, is that handsome? That is, I can just taste it from here.
Part of the reason I also do individual dishes is because we inquire when guests check in if they have any food allergies, food sensitivities, dietary restrictions.
Of
And
course.
it's amazing how many people are allergic to melons, pineapples,
Strawberries.
bananas, blueberries. And beyond that, there's a lot of people that don't like grapes. I don't know if it's a texture thing, but so there's
I
always some
don't
that are made up
like them,
specifically for our giving guests.
And then what, do you drizzle that with a little bit of this beautiful key lime?
Yes.
So it makes the fruit glisten.
And the poppy seeds give it just a little bit of a interesting look.
Okay.
Very light on that.
Very light on the dressing, on the topping.
Yep. If I could do a large bowl like you are and toss it, that would be magnificent, but I can't do that. I lose my portion control and
Get safety too.
you get safety.
Yes, Stacey, very good. Very good. Isn't
So
that?
Denyce, whenever you're ready, we're going to move back to Rick and
I'm
his
ready.
triangular scones. And
I
as
am
you
ready.
know,
I'm so excited about that.
I've named the points of his triangular scones dull, bland, and dry.
And the war is on. Shots
And the war is
fired.
on. The Scone Wars are on.
Shots fired. Here we go.
Take
All
it
right,
away,
very
It-
good.
It's really best not to laugh at his jokes. It
Oh,
just encourages him.
I see. I see. So which scone are we doing the cranberry one?
We're gonna do cranberry today with
Okay.
orange zest
Oh my
and
goodness.
a little bit of white chocolate because you got a tart cranberry. You offset it with a little bit of sweetness.
Yes.
So it is my go-to favorite scone.
And I've had that scone.
Mm.
I had that. That was one of the ones that I had. And you also sent us with a goodie bag of some scones, but I had the cranberry orange. I remember it very well.
Awesome. And so just a side note, the 3 points on my scone are not what Tom told you. They are the 3 points of perfection, the taste, the texture, and the presentation.
Oh, all right. I'm ready.
All right. So we start ourselves with 2 cups of flour. We
Got
use,
that going. That's
we
over
use King
here.
Arthur just because we really like King Arthur.
Oh, okay.
We put half a cup of sugar.
Do you use pastry flour or cake flour or
All-purpose?
All-purpose.
Yeah. I've got some scone recipes that have some cake flour in them, and they add a different texture to them.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. Because I like to bake a lot with coconut flour, and that makes it really different too.
Yeah, we have coconut flour and almond flour on hand for gluten-free guests, but I never thought to combine it for a regular scone.
Yeah, I sometimes mix it. Okay, so we've got our flours. I've got all my ingredients here.
All right. So when you're done with all your ingredients, have you cut in your butter?
Haven't cut in the butter yet.
All right. So I have a method of cutting in the butter that employs the use of a pastry blender.
Yeah.
And you have the 5 blades on there. Most people have seen that before if you baked.
Yeah.
You want your butter very cold, not frozen, but very cold.
Right.
I usually take the stick of butter and cut it into 8 tablespoons, put them into the dry mixture, and then start blending them until they are the size of a pea, the little butter particles.
All right. Very good. All right. So you take, and what's your method? You take it down and twist it?
I rock it. I'll show you. Let me get nice and close here. I rock it, but also at the same time, I'll be turning the bowl on the counter.
Sure.
Rock the tool and turn the bowl.
Right. All righty.
And then after maybe a minute of doing that, I'll give it a shake and see if they look like they're pea size or they need to go a little further.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you for sharing this with me.
Absolutely.
And with the audience, because they're so good. If you ever have the opportunity to get to Cape Cod, that's where you want to go. That's for sure. But if you don't, you can make it yourself.
Right.
Serve that to your family. And as we like to say, there is beauty around us everywhere. And this doesn't have to cost a lot of money. You don't have to go to some fancy place. You can create that for your own home, for your own family. Very good. How's yours looking? What's it looking like? Are you getting the pea size?
Yes. I actually made a batch ahead so that I could move along. But I do want to show you one of the important things after you get to pea sized is a fresh orange. We're going to zest the orange.
Very good. And
you're going to fill the kitchen with that beautiful smell of orange.
That perfume is gorgeous. When I was doing a concert of Mala's Kindertotenlieder in Sevilla, in Spain. And I was walking to the theater every day, and there was just the most delicious smell. And I kept saying, what is that? I'd walk down the street, and there was a breeze, so beautiful. And it was the orange blossom trees. And last season, we did Tarte Tropicienne, and we used orange blossom water. I don't know if you've ever, that is a delicious thing. You can drink that with a straw.
Really?
Very, very delicate thing, orange blossom water. And I hit that with a lot of things. I put that in my cranberry sauce when I make that for the holidays.
Ooh.
And
I've never worked with it.
I may even hit the scones with that, a little bit of
I
that.
was just thinking that. I might add that.
Yeah.
One of the important ingredients that I didn't mention, but it's in the recipe, is cardamom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw that. That was very interesting to me.
It has a citrusy kind of smell to it.
Yeah.
And I have the bottle here. And I didn't always add cardamom, but I tasted a scone, I have to be honest, from Nantucket that a guest brought when they visited us. Then they spent 2 nights in Nantucket, and they came back for 2 nights. They brought us scones from Nantucket, and there was a flavor in that scone that I couldn't put my finger on. And I was like, Tom and I were like,
what is that?
Asking people, what is this? What is this? What is this? And nobody could guess. And somebody said, maybe it's cardamom. So I bought cardamom, and I have not stopped using it. I go through a lot of it.
Wow.
Nice touch. But we're going to grate our orange now.
Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
And we're going to save the orange because we're going to have some orange juice from this orange added to the scones.
Yes. Very good. All right. I think we're there. I'm going to try and see if I can get this orange blossom water. How's it going over there?
It's going great. I've just finished zesting the orange, and I'm going to cut it in half and juice it to get 3 tablespoons of orange juice to add to the scone batter.
Okay. All right. Very good. I think I'm ready with my. My dry ingredients here. So let me see what you've got there. Let me get my baking sheet. I suppose I've got to get that together. So we'll get that going. Very good. Okay.
We get lots of pulp in the scone too.
Oh, from the orange, yeah. Okay. I went ahead and did that ahead of time.
One tip is when you grease your dishes with a paper towel, don't then use that paper towel to wipe your hands later, because I just did that.
Okay, well, thanks for that tip.
Okay.
All right. Very good. So we've got our pea-sized.
Whenever you're ready to pat out the dough, I am ready to pat out the dough as well.
So I've got just the dry ingredients here.
Okay.
So
excellent. Now, do you want to go forward and crack an egg in a separate bowl?
Done all that. Got that.
Okay. And mix in your orange juice, your vanilla.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. Got that.
Great. And add it to the. Yep.
Okay. Got that.
Perfect.
Very good.
And the fun part, I always make sure I take my rings off for this part because I get my hands in the dough. And so what Tom and I do at the beginning of each shift is we put our rings right here. This sign says baked with love, and both of the rings go there. When we're done with our, right here. And when we're done baking, the rings go back on. That way we don't lose them.
They're very.
Although we both have lost them, but that's okay. Another story. Not in the bad.
My husband's a surgeon, and when he has to go into surgery, he takes his wedding ring off and he puts it on a necklace. Okay, so I've got my wet ingredients in there. Okay.
Now I use a wooden spoon, or you can use a rubber spatula to start working it together until all of the dry ingredients are moistened.
Okay. And then you put in the cranberry?
And I do keep a little flour on hand on the side because sometimes I'll scoop a little bit into my hands and pat them together.
Minutes, so we need to take the oven down to 325.
Mine just went off as well.
Okay, that's our 15-minute for the strata. Okay, very good. And then you start just gathering that before you add in the cranberries?
Correct. You could add your white chocolate at this point, though. Okay. The cranberries, I wait till closer to the end because if you add them too soon, you'll end up with pink scones.
Yes, same thing with the blueberries, yeah.
Yeah.
They really bleed. I'm going to add this orange blossom water. And did you put already in your orange zest also?
Yes.
I'm going to put in a touch of this orange blossom water.
And there's a bunch of different ways that can be done. You can add the orange zest to your wet ingredients, and I've read recipes that call for that, but I don't prefer to do it that way because a lot of it sticks to the bowl. So I'll grate it right into the dry ingredients.
And if you feel like it's not moist enough.
Yes, and that happens at times. I would just take more orange juice and drizzle it over the scone mixture.
Yeah.
No more than probably a teaspoon at a time because you don't want them too goopy. When you add those cranberries, it's going to also moisten the batter.
Right. I put in a little orange blossom water there. Okay. So we're working on that. All right. And do you roll that out onto your baking?
Yes, onto your parchment-lined baking sheet. Once you have it in a ball,
Yeah, I
which
don't
is
have
kind of like that, looks like a brain.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, but you put the cranberries in now. Okay.
Yes, so I folded the cranberries in
Okay.
after the dough gets moistened.
Okay. All right. Let's see where we are.
So you've got your orange zest in there, your white chocolate, and your cranberries.
Oh boy, how delicious is that?
It is a messy process, and a lot of
it
times,
is. Yeah.
even after 12 years, I'll be making the scones, and I'll be like, "Oh my God, is this ever going to come together?" And then, boom, it comes together.
Yeah, it hasn't really come together for me yet here.
And maybe that's why not a lot of people make scones, because it's a process that is a little messy at times.
Yeah. It's very, very messy, but I don't mind getting my hands messy. I think that's
Good.
But I'm not there at the ball stage, though. It's really crumbly.
And when it gets to the point where it's starting to come together, a lot of times I will then use one hand. I'll have one hand on the edge of the bowl, and I'll use one hand to roll it and press down. And sometimes, it gets some that sticks to the bottom of the bowl, and I'll scoop that up and add it to the ball.
Sure. Sometimes when I've made scones, I found that I may need to add a little bit more butter to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to help it come together a little bit more.
Ah. I typically have used one stick for the 2 cups of flour.
Yeah.
I find that if you don't cut it in small enough, you'll get a grease leaking out of the scone when it's baking.
Yeah.
That's happened to me a couple times.
Well, I am not there with that.
Looking good.
Looking good? All right.
Yeah.
We need to move. All right, very good. I will say we've never made this much food. We've never made this much food yet on the show. We've got 3 different.
We got stratas, we got scones, and we got fruit.
Yeah. But we've got 2 different kinds of scones.
That's right.
Which we've never done before.
Tom is in the wings waiting to show you his method.
Ready for his version of.
Yeah, you might like his version even better.
Everybody else does.
I mean, the way he puts them together.
Okay. Very good. All right. What's it looking like on your end? And how has the business been during all of this, during the whole pandemic and everything? How's that been? I guess you're busy doing what you're doing.
I was voted Scone King by our guests.
Oh,
My
look at
crown doesn't
that.
really fit on the camera.
Look at that.
But you can see my medals from the
Look at
3
your
years of guests
medals.
voting me the best scones.
Very good.
What are you doing? What are you doing, Rick? Get out of here. Get out.
Oh.
Don't listen to him, Denyce. You remember how wonderful and luscious my round scones were versus his triangular ones.
Just like it was yesterday.
And I'll show you how to make them in a few minutes.
Very good.
I'm leaving now.
Why don't you go to your corner of the kitchen?
Wait.
So you can see his crown is a little overinflated. This is a true Scone King crown, much more appropriate. I've got the 5 jewels embedded in the crown that represent the winning aspects of my scone.
Yes.
Custom made for my head only.
Denyce, if you check this out on the internet, you'll find out that this is actually the apprentice scone. That I am the king and he's the apprentice.
I thought this was my corner of the kitchen.
The Scone King in training. I see.
Hi, so the first giveaway in a Rick and Tom episode. The question is this: which American television game show were Rick and Tom's Bed and Breakfast featured on? Which American television game show were Rick and Tom's Bed and Breakfast featured on? The first 2 guests to email the correct answer at cookingwithdenise@gmail.com. receive 2 bottles of the alcohol spice. Good luck to you.
So once you get your ball going here,
Yep. Then we're gonna plop it onto the baking sheet, onto the parchment.
yes, flop.
Beautiful thing. You have a stone there?
Yours is perfect. Sorry,
Do you have a baking stone that I'm seeing?
a baking scone?
Or is that a baking sheet?
That's a baking sheet.
That's a baking sheet. I'm sorry, my eyes are going.
Stone. I have a pizza stone.
Yeah, they Pampered Chef stone works really well also.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So now I'm gonna pat this out, show you my technique.
Okay, get the technique.
So because it's on parchment, I can spin it as I'm patting it out.
Okay. I'm gonna have to.
So I'm gonna flour my hands lightly. All right, with floured hands, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm spinning the parchment while I'm pressing the scone out.
Okay.
And I'm also kind of keeping the edge clean because it wants to, kind of fall apart when you press it out. So I'm going with a little more flour on my hands,
Just a little bit.
a little more spinning. So we have like a 9 or 10 inch round disc. And I've been known to rearrange some of my cranberries so that everyone sees cranberry when they have a scone in front of them. Kind of crazy, I know. So there you are.
Okay.
Now you've got like a scone disc.
Oh, look at that. Okay. Not like that.
I take the scone disc and I'm going to cut it into 8 pieces.
Okay.
Nice.
Alrighty. Very good.
And I'm going to grab my favorite knife that has the rocking edge again. I'm going to rinse it off.
Okay. And once you get your disc, then you cut it into triangles, or
What was that, Denyce?
once you get your disc sorted out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about maybe an inch and a quarter thick, and then like 9 to 10 inches round.
Okay. Maybe I can.
All right. So now we're going to cut it into 8 triangles. The signature
Okay.
shape.
Okay. Let me wash my hands here. Get that going.
All right.
All right, very good. And then that goes in a 400-degree oven.
And I do these on convection. I prefer that for 18 minutes, and I spin them around at halfway point. So I set my timer for 9 minutes, spin them, and finish them off.
Okay. And so,
But one important detail
yes.
is after I cut them into the 8 pieces, I separate those 8 pieces.
Oh, right.
I found that they cook more evenly that way. Sometimes I would end up with raw in the middle and cooked on the edges if I didn't separate them. You get
I
crispy edges too. Yeah, and this gives you a lot of crispy edges as well.
Very good. Okay. All righty.
Pull 2 and 2 apart.
Delicate at this stage.
All right. And then take each 2 and pull them apart.
Okay.
All righty. We are ready to roll.
All righty.
So these would go in the oven now, but my
Okay.
strata is still cooking. Baking.
Right.
So These are going to go off to the side. It would be nice to refrigerate them if you can't bake them right away to keep the butter cold.
Okay. All right. Very good.
Nice. And then once they start baking, the house smells incredible.
Smells just like.
We've been known to stand at the doorways with a pot holder and fan the smell out towards the guests.
Okay. All right. Very good. Are we ready to go in the oven?
We are.
All right. Great. And how long does that go in for? 15 minutes or how long?
So a total of 18, but I spin them around at halfway at 9 minutes.
So I'm going to set again my clock for 9 minutes, and then we're on to the.
We're onto the round pointless scone.
To the round. Okay, very good. Now, very good. So how have things been for you all during the pandemic, and how has business been?
Once we were allowed to open,
About 50%.
we're probably at about 50% now.
Right.
Mostly repeat guests.
Right.
Yeah, it was equivalent income-wise to year 2, and this is year 12. But we feel really grateful that we are open and that we can pay the bills. We got creative and we shipped about 50 dozen scones to previous guests.
Did you really?
Told them that they could order from us if they couldn't come visit us.
They've gone as far as California, Texas, Florida.
Oh, how wonderful!
And then we also we were hosting a lot of private parties on the porch to supplement our income.
Sure. God bless
Pay
you.
for his exotic lifestyle, Denyce.
Oh, I see.
All of Tom's Cosmetics.
Very good. Okay, so that's there. Did somebody set the clock for 9 minutes so that we spin it at 9 minutes, right? Okay, so are we ready? Now we're going to be ready for the rum scones?
For the rum raisin?
Rum Raisin Scones.
Rum Raisin Scones. Very good. All right. I think I have my ingredients here.
Okay.
I've
already put my 2.5 cups of flour in the food processor.
Okay.
So this is one way that Rick and I differ. I use a little bit more flour, and I use the food processor because I've had carpal tunnel syndrome surgery.
Yeah.
This is easier on my right wrist.
The special. Yeah, I see. I understand that. So I'm with you. I'm with you. So please feel free to go right ahead.
And now a 1/2 cup of white sugar.
Yeah, I just put it all in there together. Okay.
I'm sorry, a 1/4 cup of white sugar and a 1/4 cup of brown sugar.
Okay.
A teaspoon of baking powder.
Right.
A teaspoon of cinnamon.
Very good. Put that in there.
And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
And I put the top on the food processor, and I go for 13 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13.
So then you add in your cold butter, right?
Yeah, so all the butter's in now.
Okay, I'm with you.
Okay, and now I'm going to blend it together for 15 seconds.
Okay. So you get that incorporated. You do yours for about 15 pulses?
The dry ingredients for 13 pulses and then 15 seconds to blend in the butter.
Okay, all right.
Now, and I also do another 13 pulses because sometimes this little food processor doesn't cut up the butter enough. So I do 13 more real quick.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
Okay.
Set that
All right.
aside, take this off. And it now goes in the bowl.
If I can get this top off.
Clear off the blade.
Yeah.
And if you're ready, I've already drained the excess rum off the raisins and drained it into a half measuring cup. I'm adding the raisins that had soaked overnight
Yes.
in Captain Morgan spiced rum.
Ah.
And I like the spiced rum better than just a plain rum because of the spices add a nice flavor.
Yes.
Every drop. And now, buttermilk, well cold and well shaken. I'm going to add it to the quarter cup that has the leftover rum.
Yes.
So I'll have a full half cup of liquid.
Because
there we go.
All right.
And I'm going to add that to an egg, which I've already whisked. You have my spatula? The blue spatula? Good, thanks.
So how much buttermilk did you add?
I put the excess rum in the half cup, and then I filled it up the rest of the way to the top with buttermilk.
Oh my.
So it all depends on how much rum the raisins soak up, absorb.
Yeah. A half cup, you said.
Yep. And there's also 1 teaspoon of vanilla in here.
Yeah, I put that in there already.
Okay.
And then we add buttermilk.
And now we add that to the bowl.
It's not on. Okay. We're working. We need some
And
more.
with a spoon,
Yes.
start mixing it all up.
Okay. Very good. So 2 very, very different techniques, you know?
Very different technique.
Yeah.
You don't get your hands in the dough, right?
I don't get my hands in the dough.
Oh.
I count the dough, but I don't get my hands in
Oh.
These are much more popular than Rick's triangular scones.
Easy.
Just saying, Denyce, you know I can't make this up.
Very good.
So I don't know how your batter is. Mine looks a little dry.
So in that case, what do you add some more buttermilk to it?
Yes, I put the cap on and shake it again.
Yeah.
Want all that goodness.
Sure. I don't know what my.
And I go sparingly.
Yeah.
Try to add that in.
So much of cooking is really about feeling it.
Yes.
And but it takes practice, right? You've got to be working with it.
It does, because I tell you, there are times I put too much liquid in, and they come out really flat. And
Yeah.
Rick's made up the term "skookie."
Oh.
It's a cross between a scone
and a cookie.
and a cookie.
Very good.
He was so upset, but I said, you've got to own it. You call it a skookie, and it's yours.
There you go.
So then I take them out to the guests and say, and you're going to have your first Cape Cod skookie today. You know, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade.
That's right.
Not whiskey sours, not for breakfast.
We all certainly know about that these days. I'll tell you what.
Exactly.
All right. Okay.
But Denyce, if you have a third of a measuring cup,
Yeah.
once your batter's mixed together enough, just fill with a knife, fill a third of a cup.
Okay, so that's going in. We're ready here. That's going in.
Yep, 375 for 9 minutes, then flip it around.
Yeah. Well, are we done? What about the strata?
I think my timer is just going off now.
Yeah. Oh boy, look at that. That is really beautiful. Oh.
Oh
Look
man,
at
they
that.
look good.
Look at that.
Wow. Wow. Oh, that looks wonderful.
And it smells divine. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Oh my goodness, how wonderful. And then this is going in. We're doing another 9 minutes.
Stones are going in.
Okay.
The second giveaway for the Rick and Tom episode, the question is this. In which city is Rick and Tom's bed and breakfast? In which city is Rick and Tom's bed and breakfast? The first 2 people to email the correct answer at cookingwithdenise@gmail.com will receive a Cooking with Denise t-shirt. Please be sure to include your address and your t-shirt size. Good luck.
Out. This. Oh!
Buenos dias.
Well, look at who we have there. Wonderful.
I am Rico Suave Benderas,
Rico Suave.
and this I usually do not serve quiche. I only serve scones. But the stratas, I'm sorry, were just coming out of the oven. So
look at that. Is that gorgeous? That's wonderful.
So part of
Fantastic.
the Scone War is that we take on different personas as we deliver the scone.
Different personas.
Yes, this is one half of a duo, and the other half is coming in the back door, I think. And her name is Caramelized Scones.
Oh,
We travel together. We perform together.
You do.
She is 107 years old.
Oh,
But
well,
she has great
she's
legs.
going strong, huh? Very good. Well, I cannot wait to meet her. I came dressed to the party too because I heard a little birdie told me that she may be making an appearance. So that is wonderful.
And I could excuse myself 1 second. Carmen is having some trouble with her bra.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. Very good. Excellent. And I think it's just about time to take the cranberry scones out.
Like to see the finished cranberry scone?
The cranberry scone should be done, I think.
See.
All right. Very good. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, how beautiful. You've got it plated and ready to go. Look at that. That is glorious.
I surprise myself sometimes.
All right. Well done indeed. Very
Gracias.
good. Let me get this on a plate or something.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. That's gonna have to cool off a little bit over on this end, but thank you so much for that. Look at that. Oh, wonderful. You know what I do sometimes? Sometimes I brush mine with a little heavy cream. So it gives that nice shine.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah, and then I sprinkle like a little sugar on the top of it.
I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
Or I will suggest it to Rick.
Oh, very good. Look
He
at
is the
that.
Scone King.
The Scone King. Well, look at that. And the smell is, and you know what? And the thing is that scones don't take a long time. I mean, we took a long time today just because we were talking and getting everything together, but really it doesn't take long at all. I mean,
No.
to
be honest with you,
it's very, very easy. They're very, very easy to make.
The normal time when we're baking scones is I allow 20 minutes to put the ingredients together, and I can't lose the accent when I'm wearing the outfit. I'm sorry.
Absolutely not.
20 minutes to put the ingredients together, and while they're baking, I clean up, and so that when they come out of the oven, I have a clean counter.
Look at that. That is.
They look beautiful.
Yes, and they smell divine. Yes, I cannot wait to meet La Carmencita. Ay, 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 look at that.
She's so
There
beautiful.
she
She lost the
is.
skirt. Excuse me.
There she is. La Carmen.
She's been on a diet and her skirt keeps falling off.
Oh, look at that. What a fantastic, oh my goodness.
So
What
Carmen usually does a big
you
song
made?
and dance, and everybody claps for her, and she gets lots of attention, and then she goes and takes a nap.
So it's like dinner theater. It's like breakfast theater. So you come in, you get this magnificently, beautifully prepared breakfast for you, along with the entertainment and a song and a dance and the personas. Oh my goodness, is that beautiful? Oh,
I'm going to turn the camera so you can see her full outfit.
fast you were able to do that too. You did that so quick.
There she is. Back up.
Look
Carmen,
at
back
that.
up.
Mamacita.
Let's see those legs, Carmen. There
Look
we go. The other side
at
now. Turn
that.
the other way and show the good leg.
That was a good one.
There we go.
There we are.
the good
Very good. Excellent.
Ole!
What a picture. What a picture. That is fantastic. Yes.
She does not speak English.
She doesn't speak English. All right, I see. Well,
So
I'm going to cut into this a little
that is
bit.
just a sample of one of the 30 personas that deliver the scones every morning.
One of the 30 personas.
Yes, this was actually Tom's persona. I'm just a supporting role. And I have 15 also where he is a supporting role.
Oh my goodness.
We didn't know we had a theatrical side, honestly, until we started clowning around with the scone presentation.
Is that so?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, but look at what you created. Look at what you created.
Oh, she's
Look at that. Fantastic. And can you tell us a little bit about your bed and breakfast and how you acquired that and what you built up? Congratulations on this top 10 of the world in TripAdvisor.
So the story of the bed and breakfast, quickly,
Yes.
is 12 years ago we were shopping for a place to create a bed and breakfast. We knew for probably 3 years that that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to leave our professional jobs and we wanted to be hosts at a B&B. I'm going to back this up a little bit.
Rick was a graphic artist. I was in geriatric social work at the time.
There we are. And so we found this house, which had been a lodging house since the 1930s.
Yes.
Needed a lot of attention and energy and money put
Down
into
there
it.
for
An old sea captain's house, built in 1835.
We took a leap of faith and we purchased it and started renovating right away.
Yes.
We kept our professional jobs to pay for those renovations
For the first 4.5
for
years.
4 years. Yes. And so long story short, we renovated the house so that it would be weather tight because it was never run as a year-round establishment.
Yes.
And make it efficient, and then to make it pretty. And so for 8 years now, we've been hosting guests, and the Scone Wars came about because of our natural competitive nature.
He's competitive, I'm not.
Uh-huh.
We would start asking the guests to vote for the better scone, the better not the presentation. I'm sorry, that didn't start right away. Just a scone, and it was Tom's brainstorm to deliver it in a modest costume, dressed as the Scone King one morning, which kind of set the bar for me to come up with something the next day, which set the bar for him to come up with something. And in the beginning, I was so nervous to go out in front of the guests in a costume. And then I finally got used to it, and we created characters like Frank Sconatra and the Scone Ranger and Oscone Powers and Brittany Scones. And but that Brittany was my first female character, and I was really, really shy about doing a female character. And Tom pushed me to be a little more comfortable in my skin and do a female character. So I have to give him credit for that.
Oh.
So every year we try to come up with new characters for the repeat guests.
All right.
We're working on 3 new ones for 2021. We can't tell you what they are.
Oh
But we're
boy.
hoping you'll come back, Denyce.
That's a promise. I'm absolutely going to come back. I cannot wait. That is, I miss you. I miss you guys. And I love looking at you on Instagram and watching what's going on and what you're up to. And Laura and I are definitely going to come back. And what I remember so much about it was how everybody in the establishment was having a wonderful time. And we could hear you both in the kitchen giggling. And that was such a gift also too, to see how much fun it was for you and how fast you were, how fast you could change the different personas. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's part of our goal, is to eat
thought
fast.
That was amazing. Yeah, I think it was amazing. Well, I think we're just about done here. We've got our fruit salad, which we've had, which is wonderful. We've got the cranberry scones. We've got the breakfast strata, which is magnificent. Somebody's going to have to eat that. And then we're waiting for the rum raisin.
Aha, which is good as dessert.
Yeah,
to clear the palate.
Very, very good. To clear the palate. To clear the palate. Very good. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
It's not your turn, Carmen.
Look at
round and luscious.
Round and luscious. That is gorgeous.
And then there's the stratosphere.
Gosh. The stratosphere. Look at that. That is so beautifully done.
It's good at top, and it's really good.
Wow. Is Max
so
gonna
good. I'm very impressed with Rick's cooking.
Rick has gotten better with cooking. His scones have gotten a little better over 12 years.
Is that right? Oh. That is good. That is good. That is really, and I know that cranberries are particular. It's not something that everybody likes. I love cranberries. But this is delicious. It tastes like candy because of, putting the sugar on it before and letting that set, and that really just allowed the flavor to just pop and just blossom. That is delicious. And sometimes cranberries and the white chocolate that's in there, oh my gosh. It's delicious.
The Simply Scone cookbook has a cranberry scone in it, but it's simply cranberry and orange zest. There was no cardamom. There was no white chocolate. So I think I call it my signature scone.
Oh, that's wonderful. Boy, it's impossible to resist it.
You could always cut them into more triangles too. Like sometimes I will divide that dough into 2 balls, pat the 2 balls out and make 6 out of each ball. And then you get 12 scones. They're slightly smaller.
Oh my goodness. I don't have that. There we are. I'm going to see if I can put that on something. I don't have the shape that you have. I need another plate that you have. Oh, let me stop I want to thank you both so much. I'm going to plate this up and I'm going to have a taste of this for sure. Boy.
Well, we want to thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Asking us.
So much fun.
We're thrilled and honored, Denyce.
Oh, the thrill and the honor is all mine because, you all were just so beautiful, such a beautiful partnership, and so joyful, and spread so much love to so many people all over the world. And I'm just so grateful for what it is that you do and how you change the world in your corner over there.
Yeah.
And, so thank you for that. God knows we need it, right?
Right.
Oh my gosh, how wonderful. Well, there we are. These are really, really large. Mine are really large. They're really, really big. They're like big, gigantic scones.
Oh, wow.
They're huge. Yeah.
Look at that.
But it smells delicious. Oh my gosh. No, that's done perfectly. Oh. I don't know what to say. You guys, I don't know what to say. I love them both.
Thank you. I know you love mine better. Thank you.
Denyce, I understand why you feel you have to say that to let him down easily, and that's okay. You and I have this connection. I understand. Yeah.
That's right. I honestly love them both. They're so delicious.
Thank you.
And so easy to make and a wonderful treat for the family or for your friends or for yourself, you know? So beautiful. Rick and Tom, I love you both. And I
Love you too.
thank you so much for, you know, the time that you've given to me and to this moment and to the show. Thank you so much. It's been just such a delight. I cannot wait until, you know, I can get there and hug and kiss on you in person.
I know, we need a big hug.
Thank you for all this delicious goodness, and more importantly, for your beautiful spirits and your great humanity and all the beauty that you put in and pour into the world. Thank you so much.
Love you,
Rick
Denyce.
and Tom at Captain David Kelley's house in Cape Cod. Make it a point to get there. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Denyce.
Delicious. Thank you so much.